Oh, yeah. Once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Get hooked up now. This is an email I want to talk about, Lurch. And it is basically, it's a nice email. And we appreciate it, from Raymond Fink. He emails and says, just wanted to drop a thanks in your email. I just got a 14-inch bagger bars on my 09 Ultra Classic. It was so easy once you see how it's done! ! I know you guys saved me a ton of money by showing me how to do it myself. One thing I did, the green plug for the throttle by wire, I clipped it and soldered it. It kept popping apart in the bars. I have a set of bars with weird angle by the grips. All went well there. Installed Harley heated grips at the same time. Of course, he's referencing our heated grips video there. Was quite a bundle of wires. I shrink wrapped the whole bundle and used silicone gel to make it slippery. Wasn't much problem. I actually pulled the wires by myself. I made a set of wooden block to hold the bars up and screwed down to my bench. Interesting, huh? Worked sweet, he says. Anyways, thanks, guys. What do you have to say about all that, Lurch? Some interesting stuff. I like the wood block idea. He's referencing our handlebar install video, which he purchased, lawabidingbiker.com/Harley handlebars. And if you're going to do bars at the same time, we always say you're going to have a lot of the same parts and components apart, and you're going to be in the same areas. So
why not?
Heated grips, lawabidingbiker.com/Harley heated grips. And
sounds like it might have been a little bit of an older bike, not old, but probably pre-14, if he's talking about the green plug, because the newer bikes don't have that. They got rid of that plug up at the top near the handlebar. Yep. Mm-hmm. When we just did Popeye's bike,
you're right.
There, so
you're right. We just did an 8 or a 19. Mm-hmm. You're right. Now that I think about it, what did they do there instead?
It's just hardwired.
It's just hardwired.
Yeah. You unplug it down at the base and pull the whole thing out.
They must have been having problems with that.
Yeah. And in talking with some of our local mechanics down here, when they did bar jobs on those 13s and older, they cut that out too. They cut it and they hardwire them because they could come apart, especially when you're pulling it through the bars.
Yep. Good point. Yep. Good information, Raymond. And thanks for the shout out. And so glad our videos helped you by installing, I'm guessing, by getting our videos, both of those at such a low price. And what that would have cost him at a dealership, $1,200 for the bars and another $300, $400 for the grips. He would have, so there you go. Do the math there.
Even though they're already replacing your bars,
right.
So it's not that, but they charge you per
Doesn't
piece.
Matter.
How many hours they got a set price. Yep.
They got a set price. So so awesome. That's what we're all about. We love hearing that you're saving money, but better yet, that you're wrenching on your own motorcycle yourself, because nobody takes more pride in your motorcycle than when you do it yourself. And we experienced that today when we were fixing Lurch's shaft.
Yeah, nobody loves my shaft as much as I love my shaft.
You treat your shaft better than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Frickin' ridiculous. Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike. Top quality. I like it, gold. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of Zero 3D products. And we love the Zero 3D products. We have a plethora of them in the store, Lurch.
Whatever, you and your words.
I'm going to keep using it, dude. All right. And if you don't understand the reference before we get started here, this is actually some cool information. This is how we do. You never know when we're going to say stuff, when we're going to start, when we're going to end. Keeps people guessing. All right. So today in the Law Abiding Biker Garage, which if you're getting this later in regular podcast format and you're not a patron member and didn't get it early, it was the end of October here, and we did a little project. Do you want to discuss it briefly? We did it. And then we're going to do a produce video. Kind of give the day briefly.
Well, we decided to do a video on the shifter shaft,
not Lurch's shaft,
and my bike's shifter shaft and the shifter arm on the front end of the shifting linkage, so up by where your foot would be. Harley's got a problem with those. We know for sure for the 14 through 17 anyways, bikes, the touring bikes, I don't know if the parts are machined right or whatnot, but the splines can, so your shifter shaft has some splines and so does your shifter arm. They mate together and then they are held together with a bolt and a pinch clamp. And over time, those splines can get worn out. And sometimes it's
a common problem, right?
Very common problem. And sometimes the shifter arm may just slide off completely like it did to Jonathan Holland. Or your splines may strip out like it did to you, and then you can't shift
Mark
it at all.
Arnold.
And Mark Arnold.
Yep.
Then you can't
Patron
shift
members.
it all. So we put my bike up on the lift to cut a video today, and lo and behold, because I haven't checked mine, and we put it up there, and it was loose.
We're just going to take apart like we do our bikes a lot just for the sake of a video, like before they even have a problem, just because we need to do a video.
And lo and behold,
yours was horrible.
Mine was horrible. Yeah, you could
right on the verge
sloppy,
of failure.
Sloppy. Yeah, and we checked the bolt, the pinch bolt, or the bolt that was
his shaft got all sloppy.
Tight. Yeah, so it wasn't that it was loose; it was tight. It's just the splines had loosened up, and generally speaking, the shaft itself, the metal is stronger than the metal in the shifter arm. So generally, the shifter arm wears out. But there was significant wear on my shifter shaft as well. So we went down to the local Harley dealership here, and I got a new shifter arm and shifter spline and replaced it, and it is much, much tighter. I'm glad we did it because if we didn't, I would have been in the middle of BFE and it would have went out.
Well said. And we popped a live today, YouTube. Make sure you have your alerts turned on your mobile devices and stuff for our YouTube channel because sometimes we just pop random videos like that. It was pretty fun. And we announced some stuff on there too. So we did, but we're doing a full produced video on this, guys. And there's more to it than that. It's going to be a really condensed video on like what you need to know exactly what the problem is, how to avoid it, how to not get stranded like I did in the middle of outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming on our trip and trying to get back. This is a problem that it doesn't really give you any signs or symptoms and it can just happen, but there are some things. Anyways, we did a very detailed and it will be popping on our YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed to that because always coming out with new free helpful videos for you guys. And we're excited about this one. And so that's what we're talking about, the jokes about the shaft, because we did a YouTube live and we actually made some jokes. And I think it's whatever the name of it is, the Lurch.
Something about my shaft
something
being
about
broken
Lurch's
or my
broken shaft. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But we had a lot of fun
shaft
with it.
Jokes all day long.
And so because we're older adults and we're very mature in our years,
very, very serious.
We couldn't stop making shaft jokes. So I wanted to give a little context to that. So there you go. Shall we actually get started here, Lurch?
Let's do it.
Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history by being here, by listening to this very podcast, whether you like it or not. And I know you like it. You're part of what we call
the Biker Revolution.
Hashtag. That's right.
Hashtag it, bitches.
We got just one question, Lurch and I, before we get started. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Nice. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast and your
high-tech redneck.
Oh, there you go. Mixing it up as usual. Threw some stuff at you up front. Now, we want to mention this real quick. And we already mentioned one video that we're going to do, but it's not an edit yet because we just filmed it today, of course. Spent our whole Saturday for you guys, trying to get content out to you guys, including we just did a live episode. We're off. This is back-to-back episodes. This one isn't live, but nonetheless, still, patrons will get it immediately and months before everybody else. So new for purchase video. This is our kind of piggybacking on what we've already talked about, but it's our updated Harley heated grips install video. That has been a staple video. It's one of the very first for purchase high-end videos we did back in the day. We're always trying to revamp stuff as we get new video gear and techniques to make things more precise, more high definition, more instructional, 4K stuff. That's what we're doing for you guys. So we're not going to even dive in. We got a big subject today, but nonetheless,
that's what she said.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, true that. One for Lurch. But we got an episode for you with some good information on winterizing bike, but I digress. The Hardy Grips video has been completely revamped, completely re-recorded, and it is up. And anybody that purchased it before, of course, standing, our commitment to bikers is you get the new updated file. And anybody that purchases it from now on will get this new revamped, and it turned out great. Just because we get better at our craft of these videos and instructing in this stuff. Have no fear. With that video, you will be able to install heated grips. For years now, bikers have used that video. Even our old one, which was great, this one's even better. So lawabidingbiker.com/Harley heated grips, and do those bars at the same time would definitely be our suggestion. Now, we love our sponsors up front right now, Ciro and Rick Rack, but we could absolutely not do this without our patron members. We want to thank the following.
Karen Cavan of El Paso, Texas, top tier. Jim Patty of Marina, California, also top tier. And Joe Patello of Sugar Land, Texas.
Moving on, Jeremy Pruitt of Carmen, Oklahoma, top tier. Nicholas Stiant of Brown of Kirkland, Washington. Wow, right here in Washington State. John Eversole of Comanche, Oklahoma, top tier. And finishing it out,
Bob Hunecki of Wildwood, Missouri, top tier. Tad Nickel of Campbell River, British Columbia, Canada. And Tomet Bennis.
Shout out north.
Middleport, PA.
There you go. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. Patreon is how they got hooked up. That's right. Pledge a certain amount, appropriate content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits, t-shirts and stickers. The private Facebook group, which we love. You get access to the private video broadcast and chat. Access to episodes like this months before everybody else. And you can get access to the ride, events, and meetup like we're doing in Sturgis 2020. And top tier, get access to our premium videos up on request, like some of them, like the handlebar videos and the heated grips videos and all that kind of stuff. Of course, you can purchase them outright, but you also get free access if you're a top tier patron. Main topic today is winterizing bikes, things not to do, things to do. We're going to break down the discussion and kind of tell you what we do and what you should do based on certain circumstances. Best practices is what I'm trying to say. And really quick, don't forget, guys, we're going to mention it from here on out, at least every other episode until the patron meetup event in 2020, just to give you the information, because I know people skip around on episodes. That's right. Official patron member only meetup is going to be Thursday, August 13th, 2020, outside of Sturgis. Have a block of time, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Generally, still working out the details. Don't worry, it'll be outside Sturgis because it's crazy in Sturgis. We're going to have a really cool, hopefully, ride and the actual meetup. Don't worry, if you need lodging, just camp somewhere around the greater Sturgis area. You'll be within a reasonable amount of time where you can get to where we actually meet and all that kind of stuff. And let me just go up here, Lurch, real quick so I don't forget anything. Requirements, mid-level patron and above. That's right. So mid-level, you pledge $3 per piece of content with a monthly maximum of no less than 12 or above that. You can have access. You have to sign up at least as a patron member, a mid-level 3 months prior to the event. So that would be by May 13, 2020. We need you on board for 3 months as a paying member prior to the event. Deadline to sign up if you are a mid-level patron will be June 1st, 2020 at midnight Pacific Standard Time. I've created a form for you, lawabidingbiker.com/2020 meetup, 2020 meetup. There's some form you got to fill out, a waiver you got to sign. There's some other information over there. That's the page to go and get signed up. You need to understand this. Once you do the form and once you hit the submit button, you'll get a little message to make sure it goes through. It says that thanks for your submission, and in bold it says, and check your junk email spam folder. If you properly signed up, there's going to be 2 emails you're going to get. Number one is our welcome email, basically, and it says, hey, you've signed up, and here's some information that you're going to need. And the second email, which often ends up in your junk spam folder, so please check your email junk spam folder, is a special email list that you're going to be signed up for. It's for the 2020 event only, and we put you on that email list. You need to confirm that subscription, and it likely may have ended up in your junk spam folder in your email. So please, you should get 2 emails. Check those, confirm the email subscription, because that is the way we're going to directly communicate with you based on that email and all that kind of stuff, because there are going to be future updates like exactly where to meet and, and all that kind of stuff and kind of how the event's going to go. And don't forget, if you do sign up, please fully intend to go. Don't just hit it up thinking you might. The reason is we are planning and our expenses are based on anticipated attendance, and a lot goes into this, and we need to know who's actually coming. So don't just willy-nilly sign up if you're not sure. Don't sign up until you know, yes, I am coming and I'm confirming, because we're putting a lot into this, and it is based on the numbers of people that sign up. All right. Lurch is going to be going. We're going to have a bunch of the crew there. And it's going to be a great event. Don't you think, Lurch?
Well, I look forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Good times will be had by all.
And your shaft, you'll be riding with a brand new shiny shaft. And it's not going to break. Out. Nope.
It's got fresh anti-seize grease on it.
You can get down there and show all the girls your new shaft.
Oh, yeah. I'll be throwing my shaft around like nobody's business. Hey, look at this. Look at that. If people want to come up and play with my shaft, make sure.
God.
Just because, they want to see if theirs is loose or not. If they want to see what a tight shaft's like, they can play with mine.
See if theirs is loose. This is going nowhere, dude. Absolutely nowhere.
Oh, good Lord.
Winterizing bikes, Lurch.
Big topic.
I don't know
what not to do. I don't know. What shall we do?
We're so far, not so far ahead, but we batch process. So we've got a few in the bucket.
Yeah, it might be summer before this one comes out.
I know, dude. We might want to, we'll see. We'll see where we're at.
If we don't get it out in time, we'll save it for next winter.
Yeah, there you go.
Let it sit in the bucket.
No, it would make sense because we did the 2020 Sturgis meetup and stuff.
Oh, shit. You're right.
So we'll bump it ahead of other episodes is what we'll do in the batch processing. So, all right. So winterizing bikes. This is best practices and kind of what you should do. Let me start out, Lurch, by saying a lot of this, you may do some of it, all of it, or none of it. And I preface the episode by saying that.
Depending on where you live.
It really is. And
some people legitimately have to put their bike away for months.
Right.
If you live like our brothers up north there in Alberta, your bike's going away for
John Patton, Mark Arnold, a bunch of others up there. Yeah,
they're probably already neck deep in snow up there.
Yep. And it does. And not only where you are, or how long you have to put it away, but the other big thing is like, do you have storage? Is it indoors or is it outdoors? Because if I was going to store mine outdoors here, I would do a lot more things than if it's going to be indoors.
True. And
if it's indoors, what kind of indoor environment is it? Is it an insulated shop? Not necessarily if it's heated, but is it insulated or is it a pool building? Is moisture allowed in there? Mm-hmm. Things like that. So I want to say that up front, that what we're telling you, we get here, let's just describe where we live, the Yakima, greater Yakima area. It's desert, and we get extreme summers, we get extreme cold winters, we get all 4 seasons, we get fall and spring in the extreme. It depends on the winter here. We can get months of snow where there's too much snow to ride. And then other winters we can get snow here and there. And now I ride year round, as much as I can as a police motorcycle officer. We don't put them away until it gets icy or, down to like below 20s type, like really cold, like all day for days and days.
We have a pretty dry climate even during the winter. So you can get away with like tonight when I head home, it's probably going to be below freezing.
It will be.
But it's dry.
There won't be any ice yet.
Yeah.
There's no moisture. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. And, so, here, even during, like Lurch says, even though during the winter, as long as there's no snow, I'll ride in freezing or below freezing temperatures. So I just like to get out and ride. We put our gear on, I'll put my heated liner on, my heated seat, my heated grips, and I'll toot around just to get a ride. I may not go cross country, of course, but I'll at least toot around, and my bike's running, and that's a different deal. So how much you do here is number one, how anal you are. And number two, based on your environment, based on, what kind of facility you have, if you at all, or if you're tarping it in your backyard. And we're going to go through that as we go through here. And then you guys kind of have a feel for what our environment is here. So I'm going to tell you what I do to winterize my bike. I don't do shit, Lurch.
Yeah, I just park it.
I park it. And I put it on a battery tender. But it's on a battery tender even in the summer. I keep tenders on my bike just because I ride my police bike every day and I may not ride my personal bike every weekend. So I tender the bikes here, but that's all I do. But
I'll put some fuel stabilizer.
You will. You're better than me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. You're better than me. But Lurch is gone right now, so he is back and forth.
And I live out in the country, and even though
and yours is a pull shop too, right?
Yeah, it's insulated. So
you're right. You're right.
It's an insulated building, but so that's not an issue. That's not why I put the fuel stabilizer in. I live out in the country, and I live on a private road that's gravel. It's well maintained, but it's maintained by us. And so even though the roads are clear, sometimes my road out to the main road is not.
You're right. Where I'm asphalt, and I can pretty much, as long as I can get across this short part, I can get to the asphalt and to the road.
Compact snow and ice on my private road for a while.
True. So yours might sit a little bit longer than mine.
A little longer, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with putting fuel stabilizer regardless. It's not that expensive. So throw it in there. But I have an insulated stick built basically. And so even though the shop portion isn't heated, even in the coldest of the winter, it gets down to like 50 because I only open the door real quick to get my police bike in and out. And a lot of times heat from the studio part here bleeds over there because there's a window and it keeps it from freezing in there ever. And there's no moisture. And so battery tender is all I do. I'm pretty lucky that way, but it will and make no mistake about it. Here in this area, we do have some winters where for like weeks, it can get down to 10 degrees. We've had that before for like a whole week.
Yeah, that being the high and then below.
Canada people are laughing at us. But I mean, just to give a little context, right? Mm-hmm. Like it does get damn cold around here and it can be sustained to where some winters, you worry about stuff freezing and you leave your water running. Like here in the shop I did last year for a week, just a little trickle.
Yep, a little drip.
Little drip. Yep. Not something, no, we're not even going to go back to the shaft.
Your shaft has a drip?
Never mind. I was going to say, dude, not talking about the drip off your shaft. Okay. So with that said, this isn't all mandatory. Let's break it down on some things you might consider doing based on your environment and your needs and how harsh your winters are. So let's start with this. I think this is a good one. Don't start your bike every week. And I will tell you, I fully admitted this. If you go to Law Abiding Biker episode number 130.
I used to do it because I thought you were supposed to.
It's how we grew up, bro. Mm-hmm. It's what my dad taught me.
Yep.
He didn't know any better either. We did a full episode on that, me and Oscar, and it's a really good, and I did great written article. So please go to lawabidingbiker.com/130. That's episode 130. You can listen to it. And I will put a link to this in the show notes, which will be lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this ends up being. So I'll link to it for you. But nonetheless, we did a very detailed article and podcast on that. So I want to go over it a little bit because it's one of the higher points. Growing up, that's what we did. We would go out if we had cars sitting, me and my old man, it would be our responsibility if we had a few extra cars in the driveway to go out there and scrape them off and let them run for 5 or 10 minutes and then turn them off because you got to keep the thing sealed, lubricated.
The fluids moving.
You got to keep the fluids moving and all this kind of stuff. It's actually one of the worst things harder things on your motor that you can do. So I'm going to run through this very quick. And this is from my article based on information I researched and from Oscar because he's obviously great knowledge at this kind of stuff.
He is a motorhead for sure.
He is a motorhead. You're better off just letting your motorcycle sit unless you are actually going to ride it for a fair distance. You see, idling your motorcycle in cold not only wastes fuel, but it's also stripping oil from critical components that help your engine run, namely the cylinder and pistons. Normally, your motorcycle engine runs on a mixture of air and vaporized fuel. When that mixture enters a cylinder, a piston compresses it, which generates a combustion event, powering the engine. When it's cold outside, the gasoline is likely to evaporate. Yeah, so when it's cold outside, I'm wrapping my head around this. The gasoline is likely to evaporate. Your motorcycle purposely runs rich and compensates for the initially by adding more gasoline to the air vapor mixture. That's the problem. You're actually putting extra fuel into the combustion chamber to make it burn, and some of it can get onto the cylinder walls. Gasoline is a great solvent, and it can actually wash oil off the walls. If you run your motor in this cold idle conditions for an extended period of time, over time, that can have a detrimental effect on the lubrication and the life of things like piston rings and cylinder liners. This can have a serious effect on the overall operating life of your engine. Your motorcycle doesn't run rich the entire winter. It only happens when the gasoline is cold. Once your engine warms up to about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, the car transfers, or the motorcycle transfers to normal fuel consumption rates. You might think by idling your motorcycle, you're warming it up, which will prevent this problem. Idling doesn't really get the engine up to temperature. And until that happens, the engine control module, ECM, on the engine is going to keep sending a rich fuel mixture to the cylinders so that it can ensure that enough is evaporated for a consistent combustion event. The best and only real way to get your motorcycle engine's temperature up is to actually go out and ride. If you can't ride because of ice and snow, then just don't start your bike at all. When you ride in those colder temperatures, letting your motor run for about 30 seconds to a minute is a good standard before you take off. Once you take off, don't just immediately open up the throttle and rip it. Ride gently for a bit and give it time to warm up, and you'll put unnecessary stress on the engine. It can take 5 to 15 minutes for your engine to warm up, depending on the driving conditions. Also, because your motorcycle is going to run a bit rich before the engine reaches 40 degrees Fahrenheit, you're going to get lower gas mileage than usual. The myth started in an age when all motorcycles engines relied on carburetors. Then came the standard application of fuel injection. The main difference is that electronic fuel injection comes with a sensor that feeds the cylinders the right air-fuel mixture to generate a combustion event. Carburetors run motorcycles lack this important sensor. If your gasoline was too cold, your car would run rich. It wouldn't run rich. It would simply stall out. In those days, it was important to get the carburetor warm before driving. So there's two things there about how long you should let your bike warm up in that
a little
article.
different with the EFI bike versus a carb bike. Carb bike, you have to pull the choke and get that thing running, and it does have to warm up before it will keep running.
Yep, exactly.
Versus like I said, an EFI bike does all the computer stuff and just dumps more fuel in there.
Yep.
So, let it run for about 30 seconds to a minute and then go.
Yep, absolutely. And I will tell you, I violate that every day on my police bike because we just start them up from cold and we have to go.
You got to go.
That's amazing, honestly, that they just do that. You know what I mean? But best case scenario and best practice would be, so there's two different things there. I hope I didn't confuse the audience. There's, should you let your bike run just to run? And then that also kind of progressed into, if you are going to go for a bike ride in the winter, how long should you let your bike warm up and all that kind of stuff? So the basic rule is don't start your bike up every week. If you're going to go for a ride, go for a damn ride. Otherwise, sit on your bike with a fan and blow a fan in your face and pretend like you're riding, but leave the damn engine off because you're doing more harm than
you're washing
doing
down your
good.
Cylinder walls with gasoline, and you're building up moisture in your exhaust, which unless you let it run for a long time and get warm and blow that out, you're going to end up shutting your bike off, and then you're going to leave condensation in your exhaust.
Yep.
And also that'll add to rusting and whatever else.
Good point. Good point. Do you want to cover this? We briefly covered it with fuel stabilizer. Don't drain your fuel tank, people. Yeah.
A lot of people will run their tank down to almost empty, and then leave it sitting there empty during the winter.
Or they'll drain it all the way dry.
Or drain it. And what that does, it allows room in that tank for moisture to build up.
And corrosion. And dried out seals.
Yep. So you're better off to leave it full, truthfully, and put a good fuel stabilizer in there so that you're taking up the room in that tank and not allowing any room for moisture to build up and corrosion to build up. And that fuel stabilizer will help keep that gas going until spring. Exactly.
Yeah, that's good information because, I know people that do that. In fact, we used to do that with our old lawnmowers and stuff. My dad and I growing up, we would drain the lawnmower. And
your seals dry out and then they end up leaking.
It's funny how we did that for so many years and that's what my dad taught me.
And the funny thing is back then, that fuel was much better. It didn't have all the ethanol crap that we have in our fuel now. One of the things that you're concerned with our newer fuels like the E85 and whatnot with ethanol, and there's that varnish and the gumming up of stuff. So there are additives. First of all, if you can, always put in a ethanol free fuel, do that. But if not, there are additives you can put in there to combat that and keep that gas fresh until spring.
Good point. And if you have a carb bike, be sure to turn your petcock off and drain the carb bowls. That's important. I'm sure, I mean, there's still a lot of listeners with carb bikes and stuff. So, yeah. So there's some things, let me read through our notes here just to make sure we're getting everything here. Yeah, no, I think that's good. Let's move on. Don't remove your battery. Is it battery or battery?
It's a battery.
I like saying battery. All right.
Battery.
Why pull the battery, guys, if you don't have to? So I guess here, the main point is if there isn't a power source where you store your bike, you want to take your battery inside and hook it up to a tender. So I think that would be one of the main points, but it's not necessary to remove your battery if you don't have to. Like I just told you guys, I tender it year round, just depending on how much I'm riding it. Just keeping the bikes topped off. But if you can plug it in to a battery tender, which we highly recommend. And, in that original episode 130, I think I did some links to some battery tenders that we use around here. Your battery maintainer, your tender, keep it near the bike, and your battery, is, just keep it healthy, keep it on a top charge. Anything else in there? Even if it will be subjected to sub-zero temps, guys, don't worry about that. Electrolytes in a fully charged lead acid battery, conventional or AGM, won't freeze until it dips to an unthinkable minus 92 degrees Fahrenheit. And even at only 40% charge, you're good to go down to minus 16. All right. Plus, when that unnecessary warm day crops up, your bike will be ready to roll. You don't have to put your battery back in. Just be sure you use a reliable, we already talked about that, charger, maintainer afloat. Basically, it's just keeping your, it's a tender. It's, does that make sense?
Yep.
Anything else on that? All right. That reads the feedback voltage from the battery and tops it off as needed, rather than a trickle charger,
right,
that blindly feeds a small amount of current to the battery non-stop. The turns are often thrown around interchangeably, but a straight trickle charger can overcharge and waste your battery.
It'll wear it out.
Funny thing is, we used to put trickle charges, me and my dad, because there wasn't a lot.
Did you leave them on all winter?
Not all winter, but we'd go out
occasionally and put it on.
Yeah, because there really wasn't a lot of tenders back then. Do you remember?
No, there wasn't.
Like that wasn't a common thing.
But you were basically tendering the battery
manually.
Right? So what a tender does now is it doesn't give a constant charge all the time. It allows it to draw down and then it charges up when it needs it. So it's aligned that battery to work. Not a constant trickle to it. So you could use a trickle charger, but you have to do like you did and just go out and every couple of weeks plug it in, overnight and then unplug it. You don't want to leave it constantly plugged in because it's just constantly giving power to that battery.
For $20, you can get a tender.
Yeah, the battery
totally
tender
reasonable.
Junior is $20.
Yep. Yeah. And if you're going to buy that, make sure you please, if you're getting it from Amazon or Revzilla, lawabidingbiker.com/banners, BANNERS. You can go right through Amazon. You can go right through Revzilla, JMP Cycles, any of our affiliate banners over there, and no additional cost to you. We get a small kick back. I'll try to put some links in the show notes for this episode on some good, what we've used for years, and we're still using them, and some direct links there. So why don't you talk? Actually, before we talk about this next point, Lurch, I think we're going to do this right here. Why don't you roll?
Are you searching for the easiest and quickest detached luggage system for your motorcycle? A Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap yo paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attached strapless luggage rack systems. This father and son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. Yep, and these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Head on over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. lawabidingbiker.com/store.
Yeah, buddy. Back to winterizing bikes. You wanted to handle this one.
Don't mistake coolant for antifreeze. So if you have a water-cooled bike, your coolant could be just that. Plain distilled water is a perfectly serviceable coolant for summer. To complicate matters, many popular high-performance motorcycle coolants and additives change the properties of the water they mix with. So the reason I do that is to increase surface contact for better heat transfer and or raise the boiling point, but do not lower the freezing point. So there's two outstanding products out there. One's called Water Wetter, and the other one's called Kool-Aid.
We're not affiliated with either?
Nope. They can be mixed with antifreeze, but purposely don't include it in the jug for peak race applications. So for winter riding or storage in an unheated / uninsulated garage, be 100% sure you have antifreeze protection. If you don't know what's in there, make sure you change it. Make sure that it can, that is actually an antifreeze, not just a water additive.
Yep. And I wouldn't do any of those water additive bullshit stuff, guys. That's all old. Like to me, like these days, just put frickin' antifreeze in there with your Harley. If you're running an Ultra with lowers and you've got radiators, just frickin' run antifreeze and you don't have to worry about it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, all this other wet Kool-Aid. Yeah. Just, you know what? I wouldn't worry about it. There's antifreeze in your bike out of the factory, run antifreeze in it, and you're not a racer. So don't worry about it.
There's no reason to run that funny stuff.
We're not running crazy street race bikes and crap. So yeah. All right.
And this is interesting though, this next topic.
It is because I disagree a little bit. So it'll be good to talk about. Don't put off that dirty oil change or change your oil before you store it. And again, I have to say what we said up front. This is going to depend a lot on how you're storing your bike and where you're storing it and that kind of stuff. If you're due for an oil change, let me just say that up front. Like, well, then, yeah, frickin' just change it before winter, right? But I think with, synthetic oils and, we use AMS oil here. We're not affiliated with AMS oil other than Oscar's a distributor. We've just been using it for years now. I a little bit disagree with that, but a lot of people will say, well, don't store your bike with old oil. Your engine will thank you. Well, all right. So let's go over this a little bit. Maybe why you shouldn't wait to change your oil until it's time. Well, a lot of people say that combustion gases gradually seep past your piston.
It's true.
It is. Combustion gases, they seep past your piston rings and they get trapped in your oil. And this apparently, forms a carbonic and sulfuric acid. So it tends not to be a big deal when the motor is run regularly, and the oil's changed like at recommended intervals, like we do on our Harleys, like every 5,000 or whatever. But if you're creeping up, and like I say, if it's that time for an oil change, why let that? I guess the point would be, Lurch, why let that acidic oil go to work, on those bearings and stuff over the winter. So I think that's the point is, if you're up for an oil change, change it. It's not as critical as it sounds to me. I get it. I get what some people say in some of the literature, but honestly, even if I was storing outside, for a month or two, as long as I had it tarped and stuff, and I did the other things like fuel additive and battery tender, I don't think I would dump my oil just to store it for a couple months. If you're going to store it for a year, well, you might want to definitely, I think it'd be more critical. I don't know what you say on this.
No, I agree. I would.
Your synthetic oils are, and.
Yeah, I'd change it when it's time. So I wouldn't put it off. Let's say.
But we're not really winterizing our bikes.
No,
so what about a guy that's
truly deep?
What if you were going to store yours outside this winter for 2 months?
Would I?
Right now, would you change your oil or not? Because you're not due.
I would change it if it was due. If it was not, I would not.
There you go. Good. And I think that's my point. So you guys decide, it's your bike, decide on that. But sometimes you read online, they make it sound so, critical or overly critical. I'm just telling you what we would do if I was going to store it outside for the next couple months. So, of course, we can talk about this briefly. Don't store a dirty bike. I think that goes without saying. You don't want to let those bugs and stuff sit over winter necessarily, that road grime or bugs. It can kind of probably eat away at your paint. It can take a toll on your clear coat, your aluminum, polished metal finishes, stainless steel, all that kind of stuff, guys. So, and that's right. We have products for you to get that bike all cleaned up. lawabidingbiker.com/store. I get some of our Bike Bright products, and you can really clean it up. Our bug slide, and just give it a good wet wash, clean that baby up. Throw a good protective coat of bug slide on, or one of our Bike Bright waxes, whatever you want to do there. It's all over in our store. That's what we use around here, and get that baby piping clean so you can go out and sit on it in the winter and put that fan on, because you know you're not going to start it now. And you can sit on a nice, pretty bike and, you know, the fan just blowing in your face, feeling like you're going down the road. Lurch. Mm-hmm. You picture that? That's what Lurch does. That's what Lurch does.
I actually, every once in a while during the winter, I'll go out and sit on it. Why not?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Just dream of riding on down the road.
Drink a beer. Look at your new shiny shaft.
Yep.
Just saying, dude.
Polish it. Clean it.
Don't use a tarp. Use a tarp or cheap cover. I think this kind of
that's breathable.
Yeah. Talk about this.
Don't go down to your local hardware store and buy a $5 plastic tarp or plastic in general and just throw it over it, because that holds in moisture. So you want to get a good quality cover that does keep moisture out, but allows the moisture to escape. So what I mean is, especially if you have it outside, something that keeps the rain off of the bike, but it needs to be a breathable material that allows moisture to escape. Otherwise, you'll build up moisture underneath your bike and it'll rust.
Basically vented, right?
Yeah, vented's not the right word, but it's breathable.
Well, that's right? What a lot of the literature here says, 100% waterproof and vented. A cheaply made cover that traps water, doesn't stay secured or chafes against paint, obviously. It's actually worse than nothing else. So a lot of people are saying like a waterproof and vented, which just allows moisture to get out. I don't know.
Invest in a good cover. A good cover that keeps the moisture out, but also allows it to
breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, you can trap it underneath.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the point, is you don't want to trap the moisture. At any way, trap the moisture in there. And you don't want some, if it's windy out where you are, you don't want some cheap tarp or something rough inside, just chafing your paint and all kind of that stuff. And an alternate is, you know, the best case scenario is obviously if you have it indoor, at least a cover, something, even if it's not insulated, that's a good idea. Or, you know, if you have a storage unit, if you have room, that can be an inexpensive option, is just get a storage unit. At least some storage units are even heated. That's best case scenario. Then you don't really need a whole bunch of battery tender and some stabilizer, but
I keep a cover in mine, even though it's in the shop over the wintertime.
I should, I don't, but yeah, I should. Yeah. Yeah, keep the dust off and stuff. Especially you're not going to ride yours a lot,
and
because you're back and forth.
And I got a big shop that I do work in, and I create dust and grime and whatnot. And so having that cover keeps the bike clean.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a pretty studio like you've got over here. It's a working man's shop.
I know it's not the law-abiding biker media studios, dude. We got two purposes over here, you know. So let's do this real quick. Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Zero3D has the products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. Zero3D's got your back with chrome, black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation. That equals more time riding, less time installing. Zero3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero and Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them. Email sales@zero3d.com. Give them a call, 715-808-0027. Check at your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged, everybody. That's right. So check out Zero3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Goldwings. Better yet, support us right here. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of Zero3D products. That's right. Got a ton in stock down in the Law Abiding Biker store for you guys. And a ton of new inventory of fangs. Go down there and get your Zero3D fangs, your front and rear signal lights and brakes. And up front, they're white and turn amber when you signal. They're awesome. We've done videos on them. You guys know where to go over there on the store. Do you want to touch this?
Yeah, make sure that you don't overinflate your tires going into winter.
Which I never, that's the last thing, which we're just reading. We pulled from some different sources, guys, online here. But they say don't does anybody actually freaking inflate their tires before you're going to store your bike for 3 months? Like that,
usually,
I
never have.
I would check them when I brought it out. But it's interesting that people worry about some of this stuff. So it's a good topic.
Well, some people are worried about flat spots and the bike sitting there, and so they potentially could put a bunch of air in it to keep their tire from getting a flat spot. And not to mention that if you fill them up when they're cold, as the bike warms up, or the tires warm up, it's going to increase the pressure in there anyways.
Right.
It's not necessary. You can just keep
if it looks flat or something.
Yeah, just keep it at the specified amount of air that the manufacturer recommends. You don't need to overinflate it.
Flat spot paranoia lurch, it's a holdover from the days of the old bias ply car tires, which flat spotted overnight and rounded back out from the heat of driving. Yeah. So modern motorcycle tires, guys, they have superior rubber compounds and
Steel
carcass
belting.
construction. Yeah. Even bias plies, putting this issue to rest. Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. So again, that's some of the old stuff I learned too growing up, just some weird stuff like that. So this is the other thing. As for the alkaline nature of concrete eating rubber, okay, alkaline nature of concrete eating rubber. All right, let's go through this. Okay. At least not over the course of a winter, most people say. It gives you, plywood. Some people put plywood or carpet squares under their tires. If you guys have ever heard of this, it's certainly not going to hurt, but but don't overinflate your tires to compensate for the weight, basically, right? Is that making sense? Yeah,
it's kind of an old school thing. Like you said, people used to put their cars up on jack stands if they were letting it sit all winter. But a lot of that had to do with the makeup of the tires, the bias ply tires. These newer tires with the steel belting and the newer rubber compounds, when it sits there for a few months, you're fine. You don't need to necessarily put it on cardboard or plywood or carpet or anything.
Yeah. It's interesting. I had never heard, a little bit back in the day, but it wasn't taken seriously. We never put, when we were winterizing, me and the old man, we never did the carpet thing or anything like that. So you don't want to just I guess some people will overinflate their tires to compensate for the weight of the tire on the concrete, right?
They're just trying to
compensate for the weight, right?
Flat spots from happening. And these new tires, these newer bikes, you got nothing to worry about.
And but apparently, right, like what I'm understanding is there was like alkaline nature of concrete eating rubber, right?
Never heard of such a thing.
Okay, well, that's what I preface this with is, at least won't happen over the course of the winter. Yeah, so that's why people would put cardboard and plywood, because
I suppose if
they were worried about the alkaline nature of concrete eating rubber. So I guess these people, or the people that worry about this, are the concrete actually eating your rubber tires or something.
I suppose if
I'm trying to understand all this.
I suppose it's sat there long enough.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a problem anymore. No. I think it was. I think it's another thing that is not to be worried of days gone by. And sorry if that was a little confusing, guys. I'm trying to understand it myself, but basically, if you're really worried about tire inflation, check your proper inflation before you put it away with an accurate gauge. We've got them in the Law Abiding Biker store,
or go to the Law Abiding Biker store and get yourself a Titan lift and park it on the lift,
like we do.
Yeah,
nice. I like that. But like I say, so basically what I do to clean that up is, like we said, I wouldn't check jack. And if it looks flat, don't let it sit on the rim, but then you should probably just replace and get it fixed before you put your bike away and fix your tire. Or otherwise, I'm not even going to check if it looks normal. And it's like our police bikes. We have to put them away. Now, our facility, we put them in lurch. I guess it is kind of heated, although they keep it just at a minimum temperature. It's like the annex where they store seized cars and stuff. We have a cage back there. So we have to put our police bikes away for a month here and there, depending on how much snow we get. But we don't do anything with the tires in there on concrete. We don't put fuel stabilizer. We don't do anything like that. We will tender them. We have a trunk battery too, so we tender that. But that, I would say that is about it. And then one of the big things though, when we do pull them out, because, check your pressure when you pull them out of your tires, because over winter, that pressure does go down when the tires get cold. And you're always, all my personal bikes too, even in this facility here, just over winter, because of the cold temperatures, even in here getting at 50, it does, they lose pressure, and I always have to put like at least 5 pounds in.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So a lot of people forget that. So first thing I do when I pull the bikes out, or especially the police bikes, right away, is get that get that checked. Anything else on winterizing bikes that you think is important, or past practices, or things you might do, Lurch, above and beyond the standard list or anything like that?
I don't do anything above and beyond. I just
no, but if you had to store it outside, like,
I had to store it outside.
Again, not storing them like us. If you had to put it out for 4 months right now, under a cover, outside of your shop, outdoors, is there any other precautions or things you personally would do?
I would just invest in a good, high quality cover, one that would keep
that's key, bro.
Moisture and debris off of it, but also breathable, so it wouldn't build up condensation underneath. I would throw a battery tender on it, and I put a fuel additive in it.
Fuel stabilizer. Yep,
that's it.
I agree.
That's all I'm doing.
And at the end of the day, if the oil was due for change, well, hell yeah, just change it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be lazy.
You're ready to go that way, right?
But I wouldn't go out of my way to, if it only had 2,000 miles on it, I'm not changing it just because it's going to sit for a few months.
Yep. There you go, guys. Really hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was good information. I think it was pretty succinct information, but we want to get out there. We had a lot of questions on winterizing. It's funny, after all these years, I've had it on the hopper to do, but last winter I meant to do it. I've had it in the hopper.
Don't start it up and run it for a few minutes.
There you go. That's one of the keys. Just let the sucker sit. Put that fan in front of you. Grab a beer and a cigar. Put your helmet on like you're riding and feel the wind in your face, and then dream.
And listen to the Law Abiding Biker podcast.
Exactly, while you're doing it. That's right. Nice, dude. Nice. And just dream about the warm days coming. I'm talking to all our people up north. They're sitting on their bikes right now, dude.
Bastards. Yeah. They're riding snow machines around.
The snow machines. Isn't that a snowmobile?
That's what we call them, snowmobiles down there. There's snow machines up there.
Machine. There you go.
They're skidoos.
All right, guys. Here you go. You want to help us out? One of the easiest ways, and I know Lurch does this, and I really appreciate it, is you can support us very easily, guys. I already talked about it. lawabidingbiker.com/banners, BANNERS. It's our banners page. You can support us by simply going over there. When if you're not gonna purchase from the Law Abiding Biker store, or it's something we don't carry yet, you can just go over and bookmark that, lawabidingbiker.com/banners. Click through to it. Any of those banners you hit there, and you click through to any of those motorcycle stores and stuff, and you end up making a purchase, we get a small kickback, no additional cost to you guys. And big deal is Amazon, guys. lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon. The banner's over there too, but what Lurch does and what a lot of people do for us, we really appreciate it.
Bookmark it.
Bookmark it. Doesn't matter what you buy from Amazon, we get a small kickback. So if you just do this, lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon, go there and stop, and then hit your bookmark and bookmark it and call it Lab Amazon.
That's what mine's called.
It is? Oh, see, look at I'm looking at his computer right now.
I have Amazon.
Nice.
Since I don't own the company, I can
exactly
link through.
Exactly.
That's right. All my purchases.
That's nice.
Taste back to the Law Abiding Biker community.
That's right. We appreciate it.
Podcast, sorry.
That's right.
Not you. Us.
Us, yes, exactly. And thanks, guys, for doing that. And by doing that, every time you go to Amazon, just go down and hit Lab Amazon, and it takes you through to, it's actually a tracked affiliate link, and then no matter what you purchase, forever, as you go through and hit that link every time. And Christmas, well, this episode might come after Christmas, whatever. Nonetheless, you get it. You get it.
No extra cost to you. We just get a little taste on the back end.
Helps put a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank, so we
can keep on running on down the road.
That's right. Keep this show heading on down the road, guys. Appreciate you being here. Been a long day, Lurch. Film all day.
I'm going to go home and see Mrs. Lurch, if you know what I mean.
We did good. This episode's right at 54 minutes or so.
Wow.
Not bad, huh?
Very succinct.
Very succinct.
You kept it pithy, sir.
Nice. Don't forget, all you patrons, this is going in the back end of your patron account, so you're already seeing it months before the regular podcast audience.